Hi, everybody, and welcome to tonight's interactive workshop from OneGreenThing, your personal eco action plan. We're thrilled that you're here. First, we're going to talk about what we'll cover in today's workshop. The first is how to define eco-anxiety. This is kind of how we start every presentation, our approach at OneGreenThing to climate action. Then we'll talk briefly about the Service Superpower Assessment. We encourage you all to take it. It's available at OneGreenThing.org right off the homepage, where you can find your unique talents and service in climate action. Then we're going to talk about your specific eco action plan, and then we'll talk about some of our OneGreenThing tools, including the OneGreenThing bullet journal, some journal prompts, and the joy tracker as well. Next slide, please. So just quickly, eco-anxiety is defined by the American Psychological Association as the chronic fear of environmental doom. And more people, as they learn about the climate crisis, as they learn about all the challenges that we're facing, species extinction, water quality issues, extreme weather events, their anxiety about the future is increasing dramatically. Next slide. So our approach at OneGreenThing is that we start at the intersection of the climate crisis and mental health, and our mission is to tackle eco-anxiety through joyful daily action. And the idea is that our individual actions can lead to culture change for policy solutions. So action helps abate anxiety, connection lessens loneliness, and policy helps scale solutions. Next slide. So quickly, the Service Superpower Assessment, I said it's available on OneGreenThing.org. I created this assessment because I realized that environmentalists like me often start the conversation on climate action on the what, do this, not that, and not the who. And we need to start with the who. Who are you in service? People are more likely to change their behavior if they can identify, if it connects to their identity of who they are, as opposed to it just being, it's supposed to be good for you or the right thing to do. It connects to their identity. And so that's what the Service Superpower Assessment is about. Next slide, please. There's 7 different service superpowers. We'll quickly go through those, but there's a lot more on the website. The first is the adventurer, who embraces the physicality of the outdoors. The second is the beacon, which is all about speaking truth to power and is focused on justice. The third is the influencer, which is the connector, all about connecting change makers to each other. Then there's the philanthropist, who's the giver, who shows up for people they love by volunteering their time and resources. Then we have the sage, which is focused on the spiritual connection to nature. Then there's the spark, which is the cheerleader, kind of the +1, who's game for any type of event or activity. And then finally, the wonk, who focuses on technology and data and loves solving problems. So those are the 7 different profiles. You can take the assessment and find out what your unique strengths are in service to others. And then you can also download a 7-day action plan. Next slide. And the idea with the action plan is that a daily practice of sustainability, this one green thing, as we call it every day, can help not only bring more joy into your life, give you a sense of agency as you get involved in climate action, but also create that culture shift that we so desperately need for these solutions to scale. And your eco action plan, the purpose of that is to create a roadmap for your daily ritual of sustainability that's tailored to you, your service superpower, your interests, and your strengths. Next slide, please. So here's our first, our eco action plan steps. They're very simple. You can actually find these in chapter 11 of my book, which is Rally the OneGreenThing Tools to Help Save the Planet. That's in chapter 11. But the first is you just want to set aside some time. Maybe it's 20 minutes. You can even just put it on your timer. You can check out the 7-day OGT Kickstarter plan based on your service superpower for inspiration about a reminder of what your strengths are in service, and also what OneGreenThings might connect with you. And then you might want to even consider getting some friends together and talking about what type of activities do you really enjoy? What issues are you most concerned about that you'd like to get involved with? In the book, I talk about sitting down with my family for this eco action plan. And my younger daughter, for example, was really interested in the idea that educating girls globally is a powerful climate tool. And so she decided what she wanted to do and focus for her primary step on her eco action plan, and she's a spark, is that she wanted to raise money for the Malala Fund. That's not something typical that you would think would be part of someone's eco action plan, but for her, it really aligned with the spark, the cheerleader wanting to support people, and also her interest in educating girls globally. My older daughter was very interested in energy policy, and she's a beacon and focused on justice. So she decided that she was going to sign a whole bunch of online petitions, share them with her friends, and really try to get educated on the different climate policies, specifically the Green New Deal, which many elements of that are now part of the Inflation Reduction Acts. My husband is a wonk, and he's really focused on endangered species work and work in conservation. And so he decided he was going to double down to do that. And I thought I really needed to focus on my health. So I focused on incorporating more plants into my diet. So if you, part of this you can do solo, or you can also do with friends. It's just a nice opportunity to share and listen. And then you want to kind of identify what are the areas that you're most interested in. In the book, the second part of the book, I have all the different subjects that you can dive into. You can look at compassion, you can look at intergenerational partnership, you can look at water, energy, how you vote with your wallet, with sustainable investments and the products you buy, also conservation and the food that you eat. So there's all kinds of different ways for you to dive in and learn. And then from there, and you can look at the 7-day Kickstarter plan, you can create a plan to do one green thing each day. Just, you can decide to make it 7 days. In the book, I have a 21-day plan, and you can say, I'm going to do one thing each day. And here's the fun thing. When we say track your progress, the tracking your progress isn't necessarily about counting your carbon calories, right? Because we all know the individual carbon footprint isn't really where it's at, right? We didn't cause this crisis. Individual action isn't going to change it. But tracking your progress can really be about how you feel and the progress that you've made and how you're contributing. And then, decide maybe it's 21 days, maybe it's 30 days that you want to reflect and celebrate what you've done. So these are the 5 steps to creating the Eco Action Plan. Again, in chapter 11 of my book, I write it down in particular of how you can go through these different steps. Next slide, please. Now, here's some fun things to think about. What steps of the process of creating a plan sounds fun to you? What are your barriers to following through on an eco action plan? I'll give you a good example. I live in Bozeman, Montana. Right now, it's -4 degrees outside, and that is Fahrenheit, not Celsius. -4 degrees Fahrenheit. With a wind chill, it's -30. I love composting. My composter is frozen. And so one of my barriers to reducing food waste is literally walking the 20 feet. Fortunately, I have a big backyard from my kitchen to where my composter is outside. So I identified that barrier, and I just decided to get a composting kit on my kitchen that actually kind of grounds up and dehydrates the waste. And I'm storing that in a big bag that I'll eventually dump into my composter. But that was one of my key barriers. What are you already doing that might count as a one green thing? I think people are kind of surprised when they do that inventory. This could be a walk in nature. It could be that you're really focused on recycling your cardboard, which, even though recycling plastics, only 9% are actually recycled in the United States. So it's pretty dismal when it comes to plastics. But when it comes to cardboard, we do a great job. Like 90% of cardboard that's collected is actually recycled. So that might be something that you're already doing. You might already be involved with a local chapter of the Sierra Club or another land trust or nature center, but you might want to keep track of those. And then track your feelings. And this is a neat tool that we have at OneGreenThing. It's called the Joy Tracker, because our whole concept is exercising your agency, feeling like you're part of the movement, and doing this daily practice. Think of it like meditation or running or prayer or yoga. This practice can bring more joy into your life. Next slide, please. So we have we actually have several different tools, but 3 that I want to highlight here that are available at onegreenthing.org/guides. The first is, depending on your service superpower, there's a 7-day action plan that connects to every different profile. We also have a bullet journal. It's a 7-day journal where you can write about your One Green Thing challenge, and it has all kinds of wonderful prompts about how you want to show up for this movement and how you want to show up for your future loved ones and create that healthier, greener future that is attainable. And then finally, there's also the Joy Tracker, where you can see it's a weekly tracker. It starts on Sundays, and you can just chart how you're feeling. Like maybe you're going to find out, like, for example, composting is really my thing. I get a big kick out of it. But for other people, it just may not be the one green thing that they enjoy. Other folks may enjoy calling the congressional hotline, which is 202-224-3121, and leaving a message with your member of Congress, every couple of days about a key environmental issue that you care about. For other people, it may be a walk in nature with a young person that they love. Research shows that kids who have outdoor experiences with a meaningful adult are more likely to have a lifelong conservation ethic. That's like documented peer-reviewed literature. Obviously, time outside can also decrease cortisol levels, increase a sense of well-being, and increase creativity as well. But these are great tools. They're all downloadable, obviously, for free at OneGreenThing.org. Next slide, please. So what now? Engage in your daily practice of sustainability or One Green Thing. Use the hashtag, share on social how you're feeling, how kind of having this daily practice, how you feel like connected to the movement, and what progress you've seen. We also have a very fun pledge called Be an Awesome Ancestor. This is the title of my TED Talk that just came out is called Think Like an Awesome Ancestor, a daily practice to ease eco anxiety. This idea that this daily practice is a way for us to do what we can with what in our world, in our community, to create a better future for the people that we haven't met yet, our future loved ones, and that we know that we're doing our part to try to create a better future, a healthier, greener, more equitable one for them. And get involved. Next slide, please. Our next workshop is Tuesday, March 28th, and we're going to talk about spring cleaning and avoiding fast fashion. We're also going to have a surprise guest and a little after party after the workshop. So we hope that you enjoy us. We hope that you join us and enjoy this workshop. Next slide. And if you could, please follow us on social, Instagram at OneGreenThing, Twitter at OneGreenThing, Facebook at My OneGreenThing, and LinkedIn at OneGreenThing as well.